All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of Airgun Radio. I'm your host, Big J. I just want to thank Timmy. He sent in some pictures to put into the intro of his couple of his guns. So we put those up there. So thanks, Timmy. I just want to get some socials out of the way. You can find Airgun Radio at Radio Airgun on Instagram, Airgun Radio on Facebook. Just search that. And emails airgunradio@gmail.com. If you have any pictures you want to send, I kind of wanted to front load that this time so people maybe see it right away and I get some more responses there. So if you guys want to send or you got questions or suggestions or anything like that, go ahead and email me over there. Let's see. I guess we're going to introduce our guest today. We got Joe with I for All Day with Predator International.
Lord of Lead.
Lord of Lead. Thank you, sir, for coming over. Do you want to put any socials in for you now, or do you want to do it later?
Well, Predator Pellets has a Facebook page, it's Predator Pellets. Instagram is Predator Pellets at Predator Pellets. Mine is at my last name, period, my first name, so I'm not really worried about it. But if you just follow us on Predator, that's good enough.
Right on. So yeah, if you guys aren't aware, Joe is with Predator International. Predators imports JSBs, and they make polymags and GTOs and other pellets. And we're gonna obviously we're talking to the Lord of Lead, so we're gonna be talking pellets today. So let's see. I don't know. Kind of one of the questions I try to kick it off with is just kind of the history. So I don't know if you want just kind of if people be interested in hearing. How you got into it, what led you to Predator, those kind of things. If there's anything you want to divulge there.
Oh man, Predator was interesting. I was actually hurt on a job because I got rear-ended on Mother's Day in May of 2015, and I was off that week. And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm off. Let me go find Predator." I went to go find them. I knew where they were at, and I happened to knock on the door, and good old Dick answered the door, and we introduced ourselves. I met Jay, who's the current owner now. Dick is retired. And I've been with Predator since then, doing, small things for him. And then I was able to go to SHOT Show in 2016 with them. And I've gone to SHOT Show with them ever since. And then, 2018, I started doing their social media, June of 2018. And then, November of 2020, I went on permanent with Predator, and I've been there ever since.
Right on. Well, sounds like pretty much anybody that's an air gunner would like to be in your shoes, I would imagine.
I thought you were saying, well, anybody with a pulse could get that job.
Well, and I just give a little background with Joe and I said this in the last show about Lou and I were talking about how I work on things and things like that, and I deep dive on things. And so I bought a Benjamin Armada, and of course I'm deep diving on there. And I came across Joe's video on, because I'm a lefty, how to switch it from right-handed to left-handed, and we were exchanging comments. And then I found him on Instagram, and we were going messages back and forth, and it just kind of has grown from there. So that's how I've gotten to know Joe over the last few years of being into air gunning.
Yeah, the whole text thing and going back and forth was just getting on my nerves. I'm like, just call me. Here's my number. Just call me.
Yeah, it was kind of like he just sent me his number and said, give me a call later at this time or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll call Joe from Predator. So and apparently I haven't made him too mad or anything, because he still talks to me on a pretty regular basis. So
as long as you keep on doing those mouse sacrifices,
I am behind on that stuff. I just watch.
Oh my goodness, sacrilege!
Yeah, I don't know if you watch any of Johnny Mac's videos. I'd like to get him on the show. He just put up a new one today, and that's his thing, man, is mouse hunts. And So I always really, really enjoy his videos, and it just reminds me that of how far behind I am on getting some freaking getting some content up over there on that stuff because people like to watch it. So
Yeah, I like to watch them, especially when you smack them and they go flying against the bricks. It's
yeah, yeah. There may have been a little bit of overkill using a 25 caliber Armada to
is there
shoot
really
mice with.
too much gun?
Got the job done.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
it
that
did.
much. So
It
but
did.
definitely need to work on and just more content. Period. I've got work's been pretty slow, so I'm actually taking off tomorrow to
Oh, me too.
and I'm going to be shooting some video. We'll see if it actually makes it up on my Big J's custom air guns. If you guys aren't aware, I have another channel. That's where I do all my reviews and working on guns and all that kind of stuff. So you can go over there and check that out if you want. So I got Hudson Hydra that I'm going to try to get a video done on tomorrow in 177. I really like the gun a lot. And just want to get some info out there on them because there's hardly any videos on them at all. And I really think personally that people are missing out on a really great gun. So that they shoot really, really nice. And you know what? Why don't I save that crap for that video? How's that sound?
Yeah, man. Let's not say anything about what you do other than this. It's not all about you, man.
Right. Yeah. We'll get to you in a little bit, Joe. Just relax.
Just give me another hour, Joe.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on. Joe and I discussed some topics we might want to touch on, and one of them is a pellet shortage. So, Joe, you want to take the floor there?
Yeah, there's no pellets. Sorry. Interview's over. No pellets. Bye.
Okay, guys. Well, you heard it here first.
There you go. Right. No, COVID is been a thorn in the sides of every manufacturer, retailer, just importer, distributor, anyone who had to deal with anything during COVID, especially with, product. They know, it was just bad. And when I started at Predator, it was okay. And then all of a sudden, when we moved to our new location, it just got bad. And how it was. I'd send, I'd post pictures. There was nothing in the warehouse. We'd have a container come in, and that container would leave in 4 days. It was completely gone. We had items, like the match grade stuff that the Olympic shooters shoot. That kind of hung around, and 177s kind of hung around. But anything 22 through 35, any Hades or knockout slugs that may have been around at the time, they were gone. All calibers just gone. But now, I can take you through the warehouse right now, and there's lots of stuff. We have a couple items, 2 or 3 items that aren't there, but everything else is there. We have stock, and retailers are still buying. It's not like it used to be. It's slowed down a lot, but product is moving. We just received 3 containers from that Monday. I was supposed to be at Vegas for SHOT Show. I had to stay and unload 2 containers. Then I left, met Jay at Vegas. Kind of nice that I didn't have to set up the booth. And that booth's up bare to set up, man.
Yeah, so I remember you saying
that. Yeah,
not one of your favorite things in the world to do, setting up that booth.
Not that one. The other one just stood up. It was great. But anyway, I digress. Then we got back, and that Monday we started packing up pellets for retailers, and we got another container in that Thursday. And then Jay got sick on me, so he's been gone. I've seen Jay twice in 2 weeks. That's how bad he is. So everyone, reach out to Jay at Predator, say, hey, get better. And we got another container that left JSB this week, so there's more pellets coming. So we have stock. If a retailer says they don't have stock, tell them to call us. We'll get them stock. It's just that easy.
Right on. Yeah, and that's something else too that I just thought of is, you guys out there, if you can't buy pellets directly from Predator anymore. You got to go through a retailer. So
unfortunately, we don't sell directly to consumer. It would kind of peeve our retailers off, and we respect them. We want their business, and we want them to continue to buy from us, of course. They're going to buy from us anyway. No, but we don't sell to consumers. It's just it it'd be a nightmare for us too, trying to, supply consumers and retail outlets. I don't want that headache. Jay doesn't want that headache, and it's just easier for you guys to buy through the retailers. Pyramid Air, Airgun Depot, Utah Airguns, Pellet Shop. Yeah, I'm name branding, but yeah, those guys will get you set up. And there's a ton of retailers out there, in all, just about all, it seems like all the areas of the United States. From New York down to Florida, over to Texas, everything in between, all the way out to, in fact, here in Colorado, we have Airgun Outdoors, which is Travis Peacock. And then, you got Utah, the next state over. And then you got AOA, of course. And I mean, they all have pellets. So yeah, reach out to your retailer and they'll get you guys set up.
I like using Trainier Outdoors. That's where I buy most of my JSBs from, is from Jeff.
Jeff is great. I've known Jeff for years. In fact, Second Shot Show, we hung out together. And Jeff's a good guy. Yeah, definitely go to everyone. If you guys are close, see Jeff. Hell, see Baker Airguns. Oh my God. All right, that's enough.
Yeah, he's always been. He packages them really awesome, and he just does a great job, and his prices are good. I like his pricings too. So
Jeff has some of the best prices out there. Yeah, that's for sure.
I think he does. So check out Trainier Outdoors if you guys are wanting to buy some pellets. So I guess we'll move on here. This is something that's been there seems to be some things stirring about this particular caliber. And I know Corey, Cornfields and Crosshairs, is pretty excited about it. And I'd like to see a resurgence of it. So what do we know about, I'm not real familiar with the caliber, but 20 caliber.
20 caliber, my goodness. That's the best caliber in the world. No, seriously, 20 caliber is, as I say, it's 177 flat, 22 thwack. That thing is just, it's such a flat shooting round, and it hits so much authority. And anyone who's my age or older, we all, grew up around a 20 caliber. My dad still has his that he got from Montgomery Ward's back in 76, 77. I think the rifle cost him like $50, $20, $50. It was, back then. Had the old yellow box of Sheridan 5mm pellets, and that's actually the rifle I learned how to shoot on. And I would love to see 20 come back. I've gotten a lot of people contacting me, at Predator on, through social media, people I know like Corey, Ken Brown, the Michigan boys. Mm-hmm. I've just, SHOT Show. A ton of people are asking about 20 calibers are going to make a resurgence. In fact, in Idaho, since they passed their really great airgun laws, since they can take waterfowl with an airgun, they can they use 20 caliber. That's like the federal limit. I guess the shot from the shotgun is large size goes 20, whatever that is, in size of shot. And a lot of guys started making their own lead free, because they have to use lead free 20 caliber projectile. So we did talk, and Pavel was there for that conversation, of course. Pavel's the guy who runs JSB. He's the man. And might be a 20 caliber GTO, especially if the states around Idaho, which are looking to adopt the same hunting laws for air guns as Idaho, might be a 20 caliber GTO. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, lead frees don't shoot well. Yeah, lead free shoot great. The Predator GTOs and the JSB relabeled lead frees over in Europe, which are the same pellet, by the way. They shoot great. I've shot those things out to 150 yards and just tagged prairie dogs with them in 25 cal, 22. The 177s I use for livestock, just to you don't want the livestock eating lead.
Right.
And,
right.
And I'd like to see a lot more people using lead free around, especially going after pest birds, invasives like starlings and English house sparrows and Eurasian collared doves, the 3 E's.
Right. Yeah.
English house sparrows, European starlings, and Eurasian collar does my favorites. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see people just use more lead-free
Yeah.
options. We'll probably get better chances of getting permission if they told them they were using lead-free to take off the birds.
Yeah, I know that's a good way of looking at it. I mean, people probably like to hear that. Around where I live right here, we do have some public hunting ground.
Right.
But I live right next to the Missouri River, so a lot of our ground around here is lead-free only. You not shotgun, whatever. You're not allowed to shoot any lead on those properties. Right. So that's what led me to GTOs, and I have had really good luck with those pellets. I've got them in 177, nice. 22, and 25, and I even have like my 25 caliber Hotson 125. I couldn't find a pellet that it liked, and I put them GTOs in there, and they're, I mean, it's insane how accurate they are out of that gun.
That's good to know. I mean, because a lot of people, no one really shoots anything but PCP now. Let's just be honest. Most people are PCP fanatics, and you, myself, and a few other guys, we're collectors. We, and I don't have any high-end rifles. Most people know I don't have anything from Day State or FX. The Scout looks interesting, but I, as much as I can say I'd like to get one, I probably won't. It's just not my thing. I like the mid-price guns, the cheap guns. I like working on the old Benjamin stuff. I like working on the Crossman 13XX series, the 22XX series. Most of my builds are based on the 22XX, which is the forefather of the Benjamin Discovery, which went into the Maximus and the Fortitude and what have you. I like working on those guns. I like building those guns, and I have a ton of Marauders now that I work with, and it's a lot of people don't know that a break barrel will shoot a GTO pellet really good if it'll fit that barrel. If it because a lot of times I hear people say that they try to push them in and these get stuck. Well, it happens, but if your barrel can actually get them in there without any issues, try them. You might be surprised.
I was really surprised with how well, because I've had, that worked so well with that gun. I started grabbing other guns that shot okay. I'm trying to think of a specific example. Well, this one right behind me here, this is a TG1 that I did a build on. It's that the actual action and everything is actually a Crossman F4.
Okay.
And I it shot okay, but again, this is another one right here that absolutely loves the 177 GTO.
Nice.
And I have the 22s also, and I've had really, I can't think of anything that I've put them in that didn't like them. So I'm not just here, guys, trying to sell you on GTOs. I mean, they really are phenomenal pellets. They really,
I'm not trying to push anything on anyone. But I'm never trying to push anything on anyone.
No,
the GTOs work really well. But anyway, going back to the 20 caliber. So if these other states do adopt those laws, I mean, hopefully we will see a 20 caliber GTO. Love to see a 20 caliber knockout slug. Would love to. In fact, I just got a new 20 caliber 20 French barrel from Air Force that I'm gonna put on my my Escapee, the 20 caliber Escape. And the reason I call it the Escapee because there's no such thing as a 20 caliber Escape, so that it's an Escapee. It made it out the factory, made it on me. But I'm gonna and that I have an 18-inch barrel on that particular Escape, and it shoots amazing with the JSB heavy 20 cals, the 15.89s. Just shoots really good with those. I mean, out to 100, 120 yards, just a laser. I've plucked prairie dogs up close to that thing just because it's so quiet with the way I have it set up. It's a beautiful setup. But I do have a 24-inch barrel. Hoping that one particular slug maker, NSA, will make some 20 caliber slugs. I do have some stuff from different slug makers. I won't say who they are. I was sent samples, so I'm gonna try them out this 24-inch barrel. Man, because I always wanted to build a 204 Air Force, Air Force Condor. I thought a 204 would be great, so I'll take a 20. And if you look at the on Lothar's site, because all the Air Force barrels are Lothar Walther. If you look at the air rifle barrels, the grooves are actually 204. So that's maybe someone, could you imagine that sucker pushing about 1,100 feet per second, say 25 grains?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, like in the beginning when we first started talking about the 20s, is you kind of get the best of both worlds there for flat trajectory and oomph. So
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I don't have a 20, but
You need one. You
well,
got
it's
to get one.
like I was maybe it was Lou, I don't know, I was talking to somebody about it, and I just said, well, that's just
Right.
another caliber, that justifies buying a couple more guns, you know what I mean?
There you
So
go. Hey, your wife will understand.
yeah, she doesn't, that's okay.
No, she understands.
She hasn't left me yet,
We'll make
so
her understand.
yeah, she's not
But as
around
Yvette
here, is
at
she?
Air Force says, to make 20 caliber sexy again. So
Yeah,
we're trying.
right on. I know there's people excited about it out there and want to
Yeah,
know about it,
there's
so
actually there's a lot of different shooters and different age groups who really would love to see a 20 caliber slug come out and see, especially since Air Force makes 20 caliber. I mean, you can go and order a Condor and have a 20 caliber barrel on it, and Virock still makes a 20 caliber Springer, and I know a lot of people still buy those Springers and they like shooting them. I mean, 20 cal is one of the cows that we don't keep in stock. Like, it just, they come in and they go out because there's back order, there were back orders on them. And even now I still have back orders in 20 cal. People want 20 caliber.
hmm. So the demand's definitely there.
It's
Sounds
there.
like.
Yeah. It
I
just,
think it's I think it's like I told Lou, I think it's kind of maybe partially a marketing thing.
yeah,
You know,
because they don't market it. No one markets it.
no,
Could
nobody's
you
pushing
imagine?
the
Oh,
20
I'm
cal
sorry.
guns. I say,
Right.
doesn't seem like anybody's really pushing 20 caliber air guns.
No.
Get some of the bigger manufacturers to start doing that, then you guys are going to end up with a lot more 20 cal pellets. If the
Oh
demand's
yeah.
there, then you guys can keep them.
Right. Could you imagine a 20 caliber competing in a bench rest competition or a field target competition?
Mm,
As flat as it shoots and as heavy as it shoots, I think the right projectile could buck the wind.
yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, 20 caliber knockouts. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the way to go.
Yeah, hopefully that's coming. So
Yeah, I'd love for it, but
get on the bandwagon out there, guys, with that. Throw support behind it wherever you can. So if you guys can jump on there, do it.
yep.
Speaking of knockouts,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna move on to maybe there's been some talk about 35 cal knockout slugs.
There is talk. I mean, we knew it was coming. I mean, everyone pretty much assumed that JSB was going to do a 35. They've been working on it. Not happy with the results yet. So that, JSB is really good about making sure that whatever they make works. And again, I always get those people, it doesn't work in my rifle. Well, duh, it doesn't work in every rifle, Not all
Yeah.
rifles are,
Yep.
built the same. They're not created equal, So, you got some guys, you have some barrels that just chew up everything and spit it out. You got some barrels that are finicky and they'll spit two in one hole and the rest go all over the target for no reason.
Yeah, and that's an example is that Hydra. At least at the tune I have it at right now.
Right.
JSBs, nope.
Yeah,
Doesn't like them.
And that's
Loves,
another thing. Yeah, that's another thing. I tell people, if I want you to shoot all the Predator JSB pellets you can, but if your rifle doesn't like it, then shoot what it does like. I mean, if it likes to like the other guy's pellets, and I mean, I have the other guy's pellets downstairs. I'd be stupid not to have them,
Right.
Just shoot what your rifle likes best, Just don't get stuck on a pellet trying to get the shoot. I mean, especially with a PCP that's highly tunable, and you've done everything to make it work, changed out barrels, adjusted reg pressure, power levels, hammer tension, different springs, different lengths of barrels. If that one pellet still does not act right, then maybe you need to go to a different brand.
Yeah. Maybe not try to build the gun around the pellet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, maybe you do because you can't build a pellet around the gun. I mean, just come out and some lot numbers have a big thing to do with it too. A lot of people don't understand that there are lot numbers with pellets, just like with firearm ammunition. You have different lots. Some lots shoot better than others.
Yeah. Thanks.
But yeah, 35 knockouts. I'm looking forward to those. I have 235s right now that would like to eat those. But
Yeah, sample a few of those.
oh yeah,
See how it goes. I'm sure people will be buying them up once they get perfected. So I don't
yeah.
have, I don't have anything. 25 cal is the biggest I have. I haven't made that jump to a big bore.
25 cal. Sometimes all you need. I mean, if you get that at your because that's your Armada, correct?
I've actually got 25 Marauder, the Armada. I have the Aspen's a 25, the AT-44 is a 25, the BT-65 is a 25.
That's a good. The AT-44 is really good for producing a little power. It's not BT-65 power, but it's close. And the Marauders, yeah, that of course you know about
that. I absolutely love that platform. The Marauder Armadas are just awesome. The AT-44, as some of you guys maybe out there know, I'm Mr. Refurb pawn shop guy. So I'm always cruising looking for a deal. So anyway, yeah, Joe knows, he's always giving me a hard time about it. But that AT-44 was a refurb. I bought, I buy them all directly from Hotson, the Hotson one. Good. And that gun is just amazing. And I've been kind of on a buying streak here, as Joe knows. I've been picked up quite a few in the last couple of months. So I got this gun, and then the other ones, like the BT-65, is a refurb. I had to put a different, get a different barrel and do some other work to it. The Hydra is also a refurb, and it was pretty wonky when I got it, and I've got it all straightened out. So I've been focusing all this attention on these other guns, and that AT-44 is like, it's just a laser. I haven't done anything to it, and it shoots amazing. It's like, why are you not shooting this gun, man? You need to be shooting that gun, because it's really awesome. I know Corey has two of them. I think he's got a pump action.
Yeah.
And then the side lever. One of them's a 177. They might both be 177. I can't remember, but. And Ken Brown has them.
Yeah. What doesn't Ken Brown have?
Right. If people have seen my collection on the wall over there, it's nothing compared to Ken's. He puts us all to shame.
Yeah, but I like the wall. When you showed me that picture of how you did your wall, I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it came out pretty good, like we talked about. And maybe I'll put a picture up here during the video of it here, and you guys can see.
There you go. That'd be cool.
See what I've got going there.
The wall.
Yeah. So it's
I need a wall bad.
Well, I had like these guns all like in closet or in cases laying around, and I just wanted to have them on display better and where I can see them. And like I think I was talking to somebody about it, and I said, what's nice about it is I got them all sitting out in front of me now when I'm up here doing stuff. So I've been shooting a lot more. I've been shooting guns that I haven't shot in a year. You know what I mean? Because it's, out of sight, out of mind. You don't really think about it. And I've got them sitting out here. So I've been like this guy back here. I've been shooting it a little bit here and there just to kind of stretch its legs or whatever. But when you see them all the time, then obviously you're more likely to get the stupid thing out and shoot it. So, and I think it looks pretty nice too, guys. So like I said, I'll try to work that in here somewhere. You guys can see what I got set up.
Yeah, he has a nice setup. I mean, he showcases all this stuff, and it's really nice to see your collection because I don't care what you say, it's a good sized collection, and you have so many different platforms. There, from pumpers to CO2 to springers to PCP. I don't know if you have any single stroke pneumatics, but you got a nice collection.
The one that I do have is the P17. Which is,
I have one.
Yeah, it's an amazing little pistol.
That thing is nasty, man. I want to take that out. You should take that. You should do a video on your other channel, pesting with that gun.
Yeah, I did do a review on that, which is gotten quite a few views over the last few years, but
It's a popular gun.
it's and for a good reason. They're an amazing little gun. I did here a few years ago. I was deer hunting, and a friend of mine, he has these. We call them gypsy wagons,
Right.
and what they are is a hay rack with basically like a little cabin built on it.
Okay.
And then you can drag them around to wherever you want. He leases a lot of property and he owns a lot of property. So my son and I were hunting late season deer here in Nebraska, which is January, and we were getting ready to go out one day, and he said, "Hey," and he hands me a box of them sticky traps, and he goes, "Hey,
Okay.
can you freshen up my sticky traps out there?" He said, the thing's just full of mice. And I'm like, "Oh, is that right?" So for the next time we went to do a sit, I took the P17 with me, and sometimes you're sitting for a long time, and that's another nice thing about it is it's really quiet little gun. So as I'm sitting there, and the mice they just come out, they're just coming out, and you just pop, shoot a mouse. Just I think I had more fun anticipating shooting mice than I did, sitting there waiting for deer. So
I've seen guys take the P17 and put a longer barrel on it. It looks weird, but and I've seen them go out squirrel hunting with it.
See, I never knew really what kind of energy, if it had enough oomph to do it, but.
Well, I mean, he was still doing close. He wasn't doing 30 yards. He was doing about 10 yards, 15 yards, because they were up in a tree and he was taking shots that way. But he was hitting them. He was hitting them good. They were falling. They were dead.
Well, I remember looking up the 3 foot-pounds is all it takes to kill a squirrel.
Yep.
So you don't need, and that's that's kind of another thing with getting into air guns and.
Sorry, my wife is yelling at the dog.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. But one of the things I noticed after being into air guns for a while was everybody's all about power. Everything's got to be turned up, and I'm kind of at the point in which, I don't get me wrong, that's one of the reasons why I bought a BT65. I want that power. But at the same time, I have other guns, like my little NP03 that I got. And I had it for a little bit, and I was shooting it. And I said, I'm going to turn this thing up. And I did turn it up. But then I turned it way back down, because it's like I have powerful guns for different situations. What I really see myself doing with that gun is using it in like a burn situation or something like that. With the way it's tuned right now, which is basically the stock tune, I'm getting 5 magazines out of it. It's a 14 shot magazine from 200 bar down to 100 bar. So that's enough. You don't even need to take an air tank with you if you're going for a burn hunt at night or something like that.
Stop in the interview.
Well, you got something to say? You're just trying to chime
in. My son's bulldog. He's a big boy too. He's 150.
Wow, that's a big bulldog.
Yeah, American bulldog. Come on now. America's dog. But no, man, you still have that open invitation to come out here, man. You've had that invitation for a while now. I don't know if I don't know if you didn't, or maybe, no, there's no expiration on that. The voucher's good. Prairie dogs, you, me, Jack is, no, he wants to, but, the family, come on out.
Yeah, man, I think we're gonna, I know you and I have been talking about it a little bit, like April. Something, didn't you say that's probably a good time to come out? Or I guess there's any time April,
May probably better.
May, then, okay. And I've been talking to my boss a little about it too, going, because I actually just got a full week of paid time PTO. So I'm just gonna figure on it then, Joe, May, and then I'll just start putting money away so we got something to live on when I don't have to completely mooch off you the whole time I'm out there. So
well, I'm gonna divert the conversation just a bit from I know we have some more things to talk about. I know everyone's seeing this cup I'm drinking on right here. It probably fades out. Anyway, yeah, there you go, right there. Yeah, look at the initials on, let's see, the back. Look at that.
Who the hell's
Some
that?
guy with a beard sent that to me for Christmas. I don't know, man. You gotta watch out for that BJC, whoever the hell he is.
Yeah, he's coming up. He's coming up.
He's coming up, man. Thank you for the cup, man. I really like this stuff.
Yeah, no problem. No problem, man.
Yeah, my whiskey stays cold for a long
Yeah,
time.
it stays cold all day long, doesn't
All
it?
day long. It doesn't last that long, but it stays cold all the time.
If it. Oh man. Yeah. Well, you're welcome. I had cups made for my family, and
Oh, I'm your family.
I just kind of yeah. Let's just get it out there, man. Come on.
We're brothers.
Figure out
You
the
guys
show.
didn't know it. We look just like the twins.
Yeah.
Now you guys know. He's the negative of the Lord of Lead.
Yeah. Looks wise, I probably am completely opposite. You know, white
You look
beard,
just alike, man.
fat.
Your daddy. Anyway, back to our regular scheduled program.
All right. So there is another pellet that we're going to talk about, or mostly you talk about because you know about it. So
Okay.
the heavier 22 Hades.
What are you talking about? Put you on the spot. What are you talking about? Shh. Don't say nothing.
Never mind. I guess I'll have to go edit that out.
That's another pellet.
was
I've
actually-
been getting a lot of flack. I mean, you guys are like, hey, we're gonna make a heavier 22 Hades. I ain't gonna make nothing. I'm not JSP.
Yeah.
We actually brought it up to Bravo, and he's real optimistic about looking into it right now. I don't think they have too much going on right now, so hopefully they'll. Will you stop? Can you hear him?
I can't. No, I can't.
Thank God. Hopefully they'll look into it. So if they do a heavier Hades, it will be hopefully it'll be on the monster, but I'm hoping it's on the redesigned monster, because that's when they did the 25 Hades, it's on the King Heavies. And so that would that particular, the monsters and the redesigned monsters are a 25.39 grain pellet. So that would probably knock it down with when they do the work on the head and give it the radioactive sign. It'll probably be, I don't know, 22, 23 grain, depending on how much they have to take off of it.
Right.
But that'll be a lot of smack right there.
Yeah.
And I would really love to see that one.
Yeah. And you talk about a devastating hunting pellet. I mean, the Hades are they are brutal. They do some damage, man. So and
it's funny because a lot of people are like, well, it didn't fully expand. I said, yeah, it probably didn't fully expand. Not what the distance and the speed you're shooting at. But what a lot of people don't understand is that, from me to 20, 25 yards, I'm spitting them out at 980 feet per second. And yes, I've shot Hades that fast and they do just fine. They'll open up. The three petals will open up. But a lot of times what you get, especially out the distance, because on my 25 caliber escape, I've shot the Hades out to 200 plus yards, and I've tagged prairie dogs, and I had a witness, and they just drop them. And what's nice about the Hades is even though they don't fully open up, the three petals don't open up, the grooves inside will actually open up enough where they form like little circles. And if you can retrieve one like that, and if you rub your finger across it, it's sharp. It's it's not gonna cut you by routing, but it does. You can tell it's sharp. If it'll scratch you pretty good. I mean, if you push hard enough, it might just break the skin. But it acts like Cedric, Too Fast for You says, it acts like a little blender. It just goes in and starts grinding things up.
yeah.
And when we first got the 22 Hades from Pavel, God, how many SHOT Shows ago was that? He brought us some samples over, and that Saturday I got back from SHOT Show. I had a squirrel I've been trying to get in my backyard, and the darn thing was crippled and barely. I had a stunted tail. It was an ugly squirrel. God, and it would just tear up my bird feeders. And I usually don't go out to kill anything in my backyard, but have you stopped? Yeah, but, I hit the squirrel, and when I did an autopsy, I was able to retrieve the Hades. And this is not my Maximus carbine, so I'm not shooting real fast. I'm shooting 780, out the muzzle. And this is maybe, oh my gosh, 12 yards. And I hit the squirrel. Nice. I'm sorry, my wife. I'm an interview woman. That's how you talk to him.
Whatever she told us about to come flying at your face. Oh, yep. I thought.
When I did an autopsy on a squirrel, there was literally about 1.25 inches of spine that was gone, and it was completely powdered. It wasn't just shattered everywhere. It was powdered. It was the weirdest thing. That Hades just destroyed that poor squirrel's spine and then lodged right to the heart and lungs, just killed it. And and that's the polymags, the knockouts too, perfect, especially in the smaller calibers. And then and a bunch of people know I'm a small caliber fanatic. 177 is doing 1,200 feet per second. I'm on it.
Yeah.
And when you hit something and you have complete energy dump, at most distances, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the pellet to go through. I'm not looking for the gore factor where I'm blowing out the sides. It happens, and I'm like, ooh, okay, that was a good shot. It did what it's supposed to do. But when you have a projectile hit and then just open up inside as it hits and goes in and just stops before it goes out, like lodging on the side, you had good energy dump. And most of the time, you'll see things fall faster than that landing.
Yeah, and that's kind of the name of the game too. If all the energy's dumping into that instead of passing through and carrying on, it's going to be a way harder punch. So, and I got a lot of dome pellets, shoot domes, and I didn't really, I get talking with Corey and about actually using a hunting style pellet when I'm actually out trying to kill squirrels and things like that. And
right.
Because of that, you'll get pastures or whatever. I mean, it kills them. I mean, I'm not telling anybody out there you're doing something unethical by shooting a squirrel with a dome pellet. I'm not saying that at all. But the Hades and those slugs and hollow point, pellets are just they just pack a harder energy dump punch, whatever you want to call it. So
we also have another hunting pellet. It's not really popular because a lot of guys don't realize that JSP started making this pellet. Skanko made pellets years ago, and then they kind of just fell into the wayside. But they had a lot of those weird alloy tip pellets, the crosswind penetrators, like that. Was a Skanko design, and they made several hunting pellets. There was the Ultra Mag, which was it was a hollow point with a basically a dagger in front of it. It just this metal point, and that thing is nasty. But they also made the Ultra Shocks, and that's when JSB got that design and started making the Ultra Shocks. A lot of people don't know about them, but the Ultra Shocks are nasty. It's a real aggressive hollow point. It kind of looks like a JSP Monster in 22, the first ones with the cylinder body, but you take the dome and cut it flat across, and you put a hollow point in there. Oh gosh, about a third of the way through on the pellet. That's an Ultra Shock, and when they hit, it's such a soft lead. It just opens up and just does one of these, and it puts a lot of force on something. I hit a collared dove at 15 yards of my hopped up 177 Marauder, and I had actually separated the breast from the body, and it was actually a 1/2 inch gap because the pellet hit it and just exploded the poor bird. It was, I could salvage the breast on it, but that was one hell of a shot.
I could half cleaned it for you.
Damn near. I just pulled the breast off. It didn't give me, I had to, cut the collarbone, but other than that, it just pulled right away.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, I remember.
Shots are a good pellet. They don't like the 177s. Don't like super fast out the distance, but up close, out to like 30 yards, man, 25 yards. I'm sorry, 30, 35 yards. That's a nice one. The 22s, like to go a little further. They weigh 25.39 grains, so they and the 22s, they like to go fast. I wish they made them in 25. When Stanko used to make them, there was a 25 caliber option. And they stopped making those. But yeah, the 22s and the 177 Ultra Shocks. If you guys are just looking for something new, that's another one to try. Because basically, GSB has what they have for hunting pellets. You got the Hades, you got the Knockouts, which is a slug, of course. You got the Ultra Shocks, and then of course GSB makes our Polymax, because our machines are over there with them. So they make the pellets, and then interestingly enough, the pellets are sent to another area in the Czech Republic where our tipping machines are at, and this company actually does the tipping for them. So any of the Polymax or the Metal Max go to a different facility to be tipped.
Be finished off then.
Yeah.
Different spot over there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's it's not a huge assortment of hunting pellets, but each one of them works. Every one of those projectiles does what it was meant to do.
Yeah, and I know you told me about the Ultra Shocks several, and I think you sent me a picture of that dove. I think so. Anyway.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, probably it's probably been over a year ago.
Yeah. Yep. It's been a while, but yeah, they definitely do it. I still haven't got my hands on them. I have to get some ordered, but because I do, I like the short range stuff too. And
I think I can accommodate you with a couple Ultra Shocks.
Well, I'll buy them, whatever.
Oh no. Yeah. You'll pay for them.
I'm not walking through that door, Joe. I'm not walking through that door. Not on the show. But we're gonna have a talk later, my friend.
I mean, anything new coming from JSB, that's pretty much it. I mean, the Knockout in 35, and hopefully a heavier 22 Hades. I'd like to see a heavier 177 Hades, but right now the ones we have, the 1034s. And when I speak like that, I'm talking about the grain weight. When I see 1034s, 2539s, if I don't say grain afterwards, I'm pretty much talking about the grain weight. Those hit really hard. Now I've actually shot those over 1,000. And they were actually straight. I shot one out to 100 yards and tagged a prairie dog. I had just tuned a friend's Marauder and hopped it up for power, and I did a video on it, sent it to him. He was happy. He just loves it. He killed so many things with that gun. He's such an evil person to starlings, because he has a lot of starlings, and he was just destroying them. He'd send me pictures and like, this is blown out. I'm like, oh.
Well, you built the gun for him to do it with, so it's your fault.
Yeah, it's funny too. I said never get a Marauder, and I got like 6 of them. I'm not getting a Marauder. I got a bunch of them, but I don't think any of my Marauders are stock. I've either done power mods to them, or I've changed the calibers completely. Like one's 357, my bottle 357, which is love the 35 caliber Polymax. I've hit prairie dogs at distance with that sucker. It just knocks them down. I got a 308 Marauder. Then I got a Reg 25. I got the high power 177. I know I got another Marauder somewhere down there.
Yeah, I think that your 177, it's 50 plus foot-pounds, isn't it?
If I shoot varmint knockers 19.5 grain, the way I'm shooting it, it's 50 to 80 foot-pounds.
Yeah, so a little more than your average 177.
Yeah, well, that one did have a modded valve in it. It was doing about 45 to 50 foot-pounds. Then I got a Jefferson State Air Rifles valve, and got their hammer. And yeah, then it was just a different rifle after that. Shot count went to hell, but man, that thing when it hits prairie dog at 200 yards with a varmint knocker, you know it.
Yeah, I just recently got a wood stocked 25 cal Marauder, and ever since I got into the air gunning, and that's one gun that I've always wanted, especially after getting the Armada,
right?
And they're just such a they feel really nice or quality, you know what I mean? I don't know, and they just shoot amazing. It's just great. So, and to me, that's kind of like the quintessential American PCP, you know, air rifle. And I know they've been around for a long time, and I think that's kind of what a lot of people have, kind of their jumping off point was kind of maybe modeling after the Marauder or something like that. But, and I know some people call it an entry level PCP, but I just don't. Trust me, I've got some entry level PCPs, and they're not nearly as nice as a Marauder or that Armada. They're not. It's not a super high end gun by any means, but they're definitely, in my opinion, whether it counts for anything or not, they're definitely a step above entry level. I mean, in quality and exactly. And the feel and everything. So,
and I mean, entry level, the Notos, the Umerx Notos, the one I've been raving about lately.
Mm-hmm.
That's entry level, $260, little carbine. You can turn it into a pistol. Just that little gun is it's such a neat little shooter, man. And I like the way how the carbine stock has 2 screws on both sides instead of one on each side, just for 2 holding it and it's pivoting on you. No, it's there. It doesn't move. It's adjustable. The thing is accurate. I mean, Rick Green did what 100. God, what did he do? I want to say 150, but I don't want to give him that much credit. But he hit that golf ball, exploding golf ball at 150. He's been doing a lot of trick shots with it. I owe him a trick shot, which I just haven't been able to do yet because I'm just busy. Maybe tomorrow. I think I have some time. But the Notos, that's entry level. Hell, the Avenger is entry level. That's entry level. And that's a good entry level gun. Hell, it's adjustable regulator. Now they got that Avenge X that Tyler was showing at SHOT Show. Mm-hmm. It's actually, I look at it's a pretty cool rifle. What else is? I mean, this entry level. Entry level to me is 260, between 200 and 400, 450. When you're pushing 500 on up, you're pretty much getting to the mid-grade rifles like the Marauders. A lot of Hatsan stuff.
Yeah.
Like the BT65, the AT65.
Crawl.
Yeah.
Crawl.
By the way.
Thanks.
But then when you're hitting, when you start hitting like the $800 mark, like with the Condors, they're close to 8 now. And then when you're hitting that, then you're looking at the high end stuff. I mean, Condors. I wouldn't say it's high end because of the price, but it is high. It's high end because it's a nice rifle. It doesn't, it's not it's a real basic shooting rifle. You want power, that's what you get. You get an Air Force rifle. That's straight up. You just get an Air Force rifle, and you just do a few things to it. And heck, I've told people, just fill the darn thing up to 2600, turn your power adjusted up about this much, then shoot it. And they're like, oh, it shoots great. Yeah, you got the Air Force rifles aren't big on being filled all the way up unless you've done something like put a heavier hammer spring or heavier hammer or both in it. It's an inline valve. You got to overcome the pressure. Between 26 and 2800, I can still pull 25 to 30 shots out of mine, depending on how I'm shooting or where I'm shooting. And the darn thing is just, it's an amazing gun. I mean, when me and Jim Fisher, the Colorado Airgunner, went marmot hunting, because out here marmots have a season, we can't just go knock them down. But when I hit that one up the mountain, 100 yards, just uphill, he was like, wow. I mean, he has Air Force guns, but and that gun was shooting a Mark II 25 knockouts. That's a nasty combination. I think that's one of the nastiest guns I have, just because of the power it puts out. What it does is stuff when it hits them. It's a lot of blood. It's a lot.
I don't have any Air Force yet, but I think the guys that designed those, from what I know of them, really put a lot of thought into just how to make it one of the best shooting guns that you'll ever have, and not and the simplicity of them. You get other guns that just got a lot of stuff going on, where a lot of it's not really needed
Right.
if you're looking at trying to shoot out there. And well, I think for the price for long range shooting, you're not going to be able to beat an Air Force.
Yeah, I mean, you get a Texan for 1,200, and those guys out there, shooting those damn things out to 400, 400, 500, 600. Chad Simon did, and Chris Turkwood did 1,000 or 1,200 yards with their Texans. I think at 457. The darn things are just powerhouses. A lot of guys, nowadays don't want them because they're single shot, and I'm like, you got to understand, especially for guys that come over from the powder burner world. An Air Force gun is kind of simplistic for them. They just want the power and they want to shoot, or you just, like for me, I do a lot of long range shooting, especially with prairie dogs. And a lot of my mag fed guns have single shot trays. I don't use the magazines. I just feed one at a time. And if I need to, I can pull a second shot on it. Say a badly hit prairie dog, but the Air Force guns, once they hit them, it's pretty much done.
Yeah. And if you're trying to reach out there, I mean, I think anybody that I've ever talked to or seen when they're talking about shooting long range, they're not using a magazine. They're single feeding that gun.
Yeah.
Because you might not notice that what you're giving up in accuracy at 30, 40, 50 yards using a magazine, but you're going to notice it at 100 or 150 or 200 yards.
Yeah. I will say this about like the FX, like the M3 and the Panthera. Their magazines are a lot better made than most. I honestly wish they would get away from the plastic and go to the billet aluminum, like what Scout doing. Their magazines are aluminum. The cover is plastic, see-through, but they're I've seen M3s do some incredible stuff. That rifle's come a long way. FX has come a long way, especially with the M3, and now with the Panthera doing what it does. Yeah, they got some really good rifles on their hand. Day States, I mean, they're really beautiful, elegant rifles. I'm just not a Day State fan, but they're coming a long way now. They're starting to catch up. I think Scout's the big boy in the block this year. A lot of guys are like, oh no, FX. Yeah, I understand. FX is a good following. FX does a great job with the stuff they do to these rifles. But the Scout rifle does have a lot going for it right now, and if it performs as well as it has been for them, in the consumer's hands, I mean, it's actually kind of refreshing to see something out there that may give FX a run for its money. I'm not hating on FX guys, don't even think that, but even for me, it being in the pellet world, we got to look at other pellets too and see what's giving us a run for our money. It just makes for better pellets down the road, and with Scout coming out and FX bringing the Panther out, it just makes for better air rifles to come out from a lot of people, because even the guys who don't make those high-end rifles like that, they look at that stuff. They look at these things and they start thinking about what they want to do.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of stir about it, and I did watch a couple of things from SHOT Show about the Scout, the Epic, and it just seems like a really, really awesome gun.
Yeah, it's I mean, I was like, because we actually talk to Scott a lot. They have a account with us, and they buy their pellets for all their testing and stuff. But they that rifle, I mean, just talking to the guys there, Daryl and Mike and the other gentleman, I can't think of his name right off, but that rifle's got a lot of innovations on it. It's got stuff in there. I mean, people don't know, the Scout Airgun, they're from oh God, what is it, Go Gun? It's a paintball. Their passion is paintball. That's where, that's what they do. They do high-end paintball guns. They're not cheap paintball guns, but these are ones that these are the FX paint. They're paint. Sorry, got a call.
There we are.
Sorry, call. But they're the FX of the world, the paintball world, and
gotcha.
And they you can truly say the Epic is American made. The Scout Epic is definitely American made. their facilities in Pennsylvania. Their machines are all there. They had everything there in the beginning. They just did a few things, changed it over so they could make air guns. And they might have, the air gun of the year. I'm not saying they are. And then the Panthera, that's a freaking technological, wonder right there. Because everyone was like, M3 this, M3 that. Well, they built something else, and which I like. And I see a lot of M3 guys kind of, fussing and humming, humming about it because it's not M3, it doesn't have a bottle in the front, but now you can get a bottle in the front, the adapters coming out, but it was purpose built. And, I still have yet to shoot one. I've held one in my hands. I really need to shoot one. But yeah, I mean, I like what they've done to it. They finally got a good valve in there that's a powerful valve without doing a lot to it,
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see. And like you said, that the competition is going to spark innovation and make things even better, coming down the road. But you mentioned Day State there, and the me, I'm a sucker for a wood stock, a nice looking
like
gun. And never mind. But anyway, ever since getting into air gunning, the Day State stuff is always, I'm always like looking at it, just drooling, going, man, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I really want one of those, but that's probably not going to happen.
On your crawl, is that the synthetic stock? I don't remember. Is that the wood stock?
This is the walnut.
Yeah.
And I liked it because it came out
beautiful.
Yeah, and I like it because it turned out to be a pretty dark kind of chocolate.
Yeah, it is. See, that's gorgeous.
And look at that wood grain. Oh, dude, I was so guys. I just got this day before yesterday. It just came in, and I could not. I mean, it's just so beautiful, dude. And it shoots great. I absolutely love it. The stock's great.
Yeah, that's the Turkish walnut. I mean, I've seen it in different grains on the wood, and I've seen the different colors. And man, I like the crawl stocks. They're finished, but they're not all shiny. They're just that beautiful satin look to them. That's a beautiful stock. I do like wood stock rifles. I just hate taking them out where I take them because, man, anything that's wood's a closet queen with my stuff. It's just, it stays in the cabinet. Yeah, you're coming out.
Yeah. I actually just picked up so I've got a Benjamin Prowler 22. That was the second air gun that I bought, a Walmart gun.
Okay.
And it's in a synthetic stock. And I've always thought this thing deserves to be in a wood stock. So I was actually, at a pawn shop again. And they had a Crossman Vantage, which it comes with a wood stock. And they had one in there, and it looks brand new. I mean, it just looks great. I picked it up for $75 and brought it home and put it in a wood stock. But then, so I'm switching them out, and I'm looking at that synthetic stock, and I've used that gun quite a little bit especially in the earlier days for hunting. And
right.
And I was like, man, you really do beat these stocks up, when there's scratches and, because you just all kinds of mud stuck down in the,
oh boy,
whatever. I mean, they get dirty and they get scratched up and they get beat up, walking through trees and stuff like that. So, but it's still, it's like it's a Benjamin that should have a wooden stock. Just how I feel about it. So,
well, my first air gun, when I got back into it, I got my kids Daisy Powerline 35s. It was my youngest birthday, so I bought a second one because I didn't want to buy him one and not, have one for one of the other boys to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, it's cool. I'm shot air gun, and God, who knows? So I started shooting air guns again, and I started researching. My first rifle was a Crossman Phantom 177.
Mm-hmm.
I still have that rifle. It has the best trigger to me in the world because it actually had a true two-stage. I mean, you could actually pull it. It had a long first, but it would hit that wall, and it would stop if because you're just pulling light. It would stop. You just squeeze a little more, it'd go off. But that thing, it was like perfect. And I really thought about trying to convert those triggers over to some of the PCPs I have just because.
Yeah.
But I actually bought that one used, and I went and bought a brand new one that day. Same day I bought that one just to have two.
Mm.
The second one became my donor gun because I love my first one so much. It shot much better. So when the spring broke in that one, I took the spring out that gun, and then when that spring broke, I shot Jesus out of that gun. I was that spring broke, and then I started researching guns. I wanted something heavier, wanted to graduate up, evolve, so to say. And then I saw PCPs. I'm not spending $500 for PCP. Back when PCPs were $500,
right?
And then mind you, y'all, this is 2011 when I bought my first air gun, that Crosman Phantom. 2012, I bought my first. I talked my brother-in-law to buying a PCP. I talked him to. I think it was after I got mine, but I talked him to get the Condor. But that's a different story. But I got my first air gun, which was a Benjamin Discovery, and I got it at Gander Mountain, and it was an online sale that was returned back to the store. It sat there for months. It was like $215. And it was a full kit, the gun and the pump, and the gun was brand new. I mean, it might have been shot a few times, but everything was looked brand new on it. Pump didn't look like it was used at all, actually.
That's a deal.
Yeah, so I talked to my wife, and we went to go get it. And actually, I was going to. They did layaway. I was going to put it on layaway. Back then, we were, the boys are younger, and we were always buying stuff. I had to make sure they had first. So
yeah.
So I went to go get it, and it went up to, my God, $450, which is the normal price for it with the pump. So I asked the guy behind the desk. I said, "Hey, about a week and a half ago, I was in here and looking at it. It was $215. I noticed it went up." The guy looked at me, got the most smug look on his face, and said, "Well, we just don't give stuff away for free here."
Mm.
The inner me cracked, and I looked at him and said, "Okay." So let's go. I said, "Do you need to drive?" I started writing a letter to Gander Mountain on my phone. I wrote a letter. It took me an hour. I didn't have a really good keyboard. So I'm just
yeah.
So I sent it off the next morning at 7. I got an email back from them because I guess they look at their emails, or used to before they went out of business. Then I got a call from the store manager apologizing. He said he would give me the gun for the price it was originally, but he wouldn't do a warranty. I said, "Well, I don't need warranty. Crosman will give me a warranty. I don't care."
Right.
And that was how I got my first PCP.
That's
and then I got the Sumatra 22, which I still have. And if anyone has really been on like Gateway Airguns, that Sumatra used to belong to Manny in Hawaii, and he's killed hogs with that Sumatra in 22. So it's
really?
all. And then I got my Air Force Talon P, which was my first 25. I built it. No, I take it back. I built my first gun before then. And then I got my Talon P. I don't remember anything after that. But my Discovery, my Phantom made me learn how to work on guns, because trying to send a gun off to someone was expensive. And because you chip it, and then they're going to charge you what they wanted to charge you. And I said, you know what? I can't do it. I can't afford it. So I learned how to work on air guns on those two guns.
Yeah, and that's a similar situation with me. It's especially starting out buying things like F4s and 22 Prowlers at Walmart and stuff. It cost you, that's several years ago, but it was still going to cost you $30 or $40 to ship it one way. And then if it's warranty work, even if it's warranty work and they don't charge you to do the work, you still got to pay to have it shipped back to you.
Yeah.
So it does. And, that kind of forces you, if you want to keep shooting, to learn how to work on them. And what really fired that up for me was my F4. I had it, and I didn't have anything else. I had that F4, and I was shooting that thing every day. I mean, a lot, shooting it. And the RAM went out.
Oh.
And I was out shooting one afternoon and shot, and I went to cock it, and it was like, that feels weird. And I put a pellet in, and basically it just kind of went out of the end of the barrel. And I was devastated, because I had to wait. I was like, what am I going to do? And so the warranty, and what ended up happening was Crosman ended up sending me a RAM for it instead of me having to send it in. And I got on and I figured out how to get it put in there, and that's kind of what started the buying guns craze with me. It's like, well, that's never happening again. I'm going to make sure I got something else here to shoot. So
Right.
I started buying stuff. My first PCP was 25 Gauntlet, Gen 1 Gauntlet. And
Right.
I remember the day that showed up. I was waiting for it, and it showed up, and I got it inside, and I opened up that box, and my youngest son was standing there, and this big look on my face. I was like, look at it. I remember telling him, I said, I cannot believe that I have this gun. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it's still a gun, I'm still like, whenever I got something coming, man, it's like, I'm watching that tracking, and it's exciting. It's exciting to get something new, but.
Yeah, I still got my buck rail 2240 buffer tube adapter coming in. It's stuck somewhere between Dallas and God knows where.
Really?
Yeah, we're supposed to be here Tuesday, and I'm like, son of a gun. Hopefully it'll show up tomorrow or Saturday, because I really want to take that wire stock off my little 177 popper, the little silver one you know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I know what you mean though, man. You start getting stuff that that you want, or just up your game, and it's like, man, it's only been an hour. Should have been here by now.
Right? Yeah. I met the UPS guy at the door with this one. I was at home, and I heard my dog's here anytime there's somebody out front there, and there was one. I think the dog's got one bark out, and I was up walking to the door. He's coming up the steps with it, and I was like, thanks. Got that thing. I was really excited to get that thing.
So. Oh, I bet, man. Yeah, it's always cool to get a new rifle. Even for me, it's cool to get a used rifle, because it's usually something I didn't have already.
Right.
But yeah, I love my rifles. Right now, the Nodos is my big one. Of course, my Air Force guns and all my builds, stuff I've modded, which is most of it. Really liking the AEA stuff now. The Challenger Pros. Oh yeah, I love that rifle.
I'm hearing nothing but good things about those too.
Yeah, I'm trying to get them to make me a 177 barrel. I want a 177 Challenger Pro so I can shoot varmint knockers out of it.
Right.
That one. Hell, my best 177 right now is my Air Force gold gun, the Talon door, because it's actually my old Talon P frame that Rick at Rocky Mountain Precision Airguns had anodized gold when he did a run, and then I put a Condor valve on it. Man, that thing on zero power wheels shooting the 13.43 grain knockouts in 177 at 1177 for like 45 foot-pounds, something like that.
Wow.
And that thing I've hit prairie dogs at 230 with it. Like, really? I was like, you do that.
Right. Yeah. Hey guys, I apologize, but due to some battery issues, we had to cut it off there. So see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.